As time moves forward, the universe grows smaller and smaller. Oceans become lakes and cities a dot on a map. Borders are fences and countries are neighbors. Planets are vacation getaways. After a couple drinks, my father would say, the world has gotten too small, and there's no room left in it for me. As a child, this idea seemed absurd. The world felt too big to even comprehend, filled with the unknown. But now, trapped inside this cargo ship, and watching the stars pass by the portholes, things are starting to feel real small. Man, I hate space.
I've seen some fishy things in my time. Someone bringing their own coffin is a first.
Coffin?
If that large coffin-shaped box behind you.
Oh, that. That's the charging station for my, get up here. It's kind of a long story.
Well, brevity is king around here, Tin Man.
Basically, I was in an accident a few years back. Really, gummed up the works inside. Now I need the suit to survive. Well, the suit needs power, and I need the suit. So, hence the coffin.
Think for the life story, kid. How about we stop wasting each other's time? I'll haul my sorry self and your belongings to your new apartment. Well, new for you at least. Minus a stain or two.
Yeah, thanks, you're a real mensch. Welcome to Space Station 52. I could not be happier to be free of that thing. My life packed up into a few boxes. Depressing if I think about it. Salty old Dockmaster. I thought you were heading to my, not-so-new apartment.
Don't be a cold fish. I'll get around to it.
His outfit says sheriff, but his expression says smug.
You must be Mr. Edward Locke, the new repairman, correct?
A mechanical engineer, actually.
Well, here on 52, we wear a lot of hats. Down to a skeleton crew. So don't go rattling bones.
Don't you bother about me. I'll do my job.
Well, that's good to hear, because I have a job for you. My friend over there is having some trouble with his equipment. Why don't you see what you can do? Actually, I have a bigger job for you. But finish up helping my friend first.
Your friend, my favor? Why not? The salvage worker looks like he knows what he's doing. Presumably some salvage from the lake here. Presumably some salvage from the lake here. Hey, heard you were having some trouble. Yeah, I can relate. But maybe I can help you out. Not wrong about that. My toolbox should be on the pier with the rest of my belongings. Trusty old tools. A portable smelter device of some kind. Looks to be in need of some repairs. Now let's see what we have here. Yeah, no sweat. All right, job's done.
Good news. It's nice to have a repairman around with the last one up and disappearing on us. Now I'll have a moisture recycler with your name on it.
Well, aren't I the lucky repairman? I can't imagine why the last guy would leave such a welcoming place.
I like you. It's gonna take a boat ride, and I don't do water.
Well, I don't fancy myself much of a swimmer.
Yeah, I'll bet you sink like a stone with that guy. I'll fetch the old Inca clanker, the dockmaster. He'll give you a ride.
I watched the dockmaster and his boat disappear into the fog haunting the lake. He said he'd be back in an hour. Somehow I doubt it. The artificial sunlight peeked over the rock face. Beautiful, even if it is bogus. A small boat landing minus the boat. I love being stranded in a place I've never been before. Beautiful blue water. Just below the surface, you could witness all manner of life busy about their day. The smell of the fresh water was incredible, even through the helmet. Part of 52's water filtration and renewal system. The smell of the fresh water was incredible, even through the helmet. Part of 52's water filtration and renewal system. The smell of the fresh water was incredible, even through the helmet. Part of 52's water filtration and renewal system. The smell of the fresh water, the smell of the fresh water, the smell of the smell of, the smell. The solar panel appears a bit old and is covered in detritus, but still looks in working order. Strange. Why would someone just leave it lying about? Atmosphere. Famous for their terraforming and artificial life. The space station was one of the first to adopt their system. Weather, a night and day cycle, plants, animals, the works. So fresh and so clean. It should work now, but still needs something to charge. An old excavator bot. It's been sitting here for a spell, but these things are made to survive. I don't know what's in this thing, but unfortunately the barrel's just too heavy to move by myself. The barrel is obstructing the access panel, and I gotta figure out a way to move it. It looks like the moisture recycler the sheriff was talking about. I'll have to utilize the access panel to see what's clogging up the works. I could tie this into something. Some forgotten bones of a local creature. Let's hope I don't end up like him. Some spare parts are ditched here, rusted and cracking from being exposed to the weather. Probably not functional. Some spare parts are... An old excavator bot. It's been sitting here for a spell, but these things are made to survive. An old excavator... An old excavator bot. The battery looks like a boxer after 12 rounds, but hopefully still has some fight left in it. I gotta power up the battery before I can operate the bot. I could tie this into something. Let's just pretend like you didn't ask me to do that. No dice. Yeah, don't flip your wig, but that's not gonna work. No dice. Let's see how this goes. Some of the cells are damaged, but should provide some power now. The battery only has enough charge to power up one module at a time. Well, let's get ready to rumble. An old excavator bot. It's been sitting here for a spell, but these things are made to survive. Why would I do that? Well, the drill works, but to what end? I could tie this into something. Maybe you come from another dimension where that makes sense. You, sure about that? Let's just pretend like you, didn't ask me to do that. Yeah, I think I'm working backward. I could tie this into something. Look at that. It actually worked. Well, the cable's down, but now it's good and stuck. Took some doing, but I got it. Barrel's moved. Time to break out the old tools and get to work. Now let's see what we got. And they installed an anti-tampering device. Unfortunately, I don't have the key to unlock it. If I remember correctly, I can bypass it by turning the dials so the squares and triangles are opposite each other on all four sides of all four dials. The top left dial appears to already be in the correct position. Cold. The first thing I felt when consciousness pierced the darkness. Waking up in a morgue has to be one of the more surreal moments in my life. Felt like some undead monster in a horror movie, back from the grave.
Hey, look at that. Rise and shine. Sheriff said you need to see the doc immediately when you wake up. He doesn't want any more bodies to pile up today.
I have a lot of questions.
And it breaks my sweet little heart that I can't answer them. So go, see the doc, and then find someone who cares. Would you do that for me? The door's behind you.
What's with these people? Oh, my head. Great, now I'm seeing things. Maybe I should see the doc.
Please step onto the scanner to begin your examination.
I guess he's not much for bedside manner, huh?
Engaging bedside manner protocol. Did you hear the news? A group of prisoners hijacked a prison bus and crashed it into a cement truck. The police said to be on the lookout for hardened criminals. Ha ha, ha ha.
Wow, that just happened.
Scanner failure. No living organic material was detected.
Suit must be interfering with the scanner again. I had trouble with this in the past. An earthquake on a space station? That seems a bit odd to say the least. The quake must have broken the dock, and who knows what else. I should check on the dock before I leave.
Udblrmrba.
Doc is still under the weather, it seems. Oh, a dangerous object to shove into my pockets. Well, I have no interest in climbing up there myself, but I could place an item up there if I wanted the doc to interact with it. The first aid kit is locked up tight. Just a simple lock, though. Might be able to pick it. The blade's too wide to fit in the keyhole. Doesn't look too bad, just a couple blown fuses. I'll need to find some replacements. This may just be the strangest thing I've seen so far. Laser bone saw. Battery's almost dead. Vents are keeping it quite cold in here. Vents are maybe the worst place I have ever woken up. Maybe. Looks like a little rodent is living up in the rafters. Jar with a heart in it, frozen solid. I'm not sure if this makes me Frankenstein or his monster. The label reads caution, dangerous acid. Now what could go wrong carrying this around? At least it's corked tight. Various beakers and vials. Not sure I want to know why they have these. Morgue lockers of various shapes and sizes to support all the different species that would frequent the space station, I imagine. That must be the body I found before my, little nap.
Hey, who do you think you are? That's not for you.
I'll have to find a way to deal with Deputy Knucklehead over there if I want to examine the body. For now, I'm just whistling Dixie. Deputy Knucklehead. I don't think talking's gonna get me anywhere with this guy.
Glad to see you woke up. It saves us the time of digging two graves. Just kidding. We eject bodies into the vast cold emptiness of space.
Heartwarming. Your deputy wasn't very forthcoming. What exactly happened to me?
Seems you discovered the body of Oakley Baxter and then fainted. The doc must have found you both just lying there. Actually, Oakley was the man you were sent to replace.
How did he die?
Looks like a simple accident. Oakley has been dead for days. So no worries. You're off the hook.
Accident? So he fell into the machine, died, and then sealed himself inside.
Look, new guy. Things are done a certain way around here. Didn't I say not to rattle bones?
It just makes no sense.
We're not going to discuss this further. You'll need a clean bill of health signed off by the doc if you want to leave.
Well, that brings up another problem. Did you feel that earthquake? Isn't that a bit unusual for a space station?
Just the station settling.
Settling? The same space station that's been around for over 100 years?
You'll learn how things work around here, new guy.
Looks like the quake broke the dock.
Well, fix it. Isn't that your job?
I see my tools are behind you. Should have a couple spare fuses.
Sorry, have to hold on to those. Part of a crime scene and all.
I thought it was an accident.
Rattling bones? I suppose it would be alright if you had just a couple fuses.
I guess I'll be going.
See you around.
An accident? Who is he kidding? If he's not gonna look into this murder, then I will. His outfit says sheriff, but his expression says smug. The lunchbox has something rattling around inside of it. I should take a closer look. Also appears I ripped the cushion fabric when I picked it up. The spring is still attached pretty good. I need something to cut it free. The scalpel isn't designed to cut through steel. I'll have to try something else. Well, that's done it. But the bone saw's out of juice. A big bag of medical waste in the lobby. Wonderful. Some resident evildoer has left their biohazard containers here. A single rubber glove. Doubt anyone will miss this. She looks pretty preoccupied. Alright, just turn your head and cough. I need to match the colors of the wheels on the right to the fuse boxes on the left. Doesn't look too bad. Alright, just turn your head and cough. I need to match the colors of the wheels on the right to the fuse boxes on the left. Alright, just turn your head and cough. I need to match the colors of the wheels on the right to the fuse boxes on the left. Fuse looks blown. I should replace it. And that's the last one. Back up and running. This may just be the strangest thing I've seen so far. It's been pillaged of most of its supplies, but a couple items are left. No point. A scanner doesn't work with the suit. While it is organic, it's frozen solid at the moment. I should get permission from the sheriff first. Don't want Johnny Law in my case. Still want to check the body. Someone has to look into this. Just a standard electrical outlet you'd find on the space station. It would be just terrible if something were to happen with electricity and mess up the nurse's show. An old sweet sob PC. You don't see the smile anymore. Never was a fan myself. The label reads Somnunium. Take one pill before bed. They're prescribed to Oakley Baxter. He's certainly not having trouble sleeping now.
Ja.
I'll need to find a way to distract her if I want to get my hands on the bottle. Sadly, Oakley won't be needing them. There's only one name on the sign-in sheet. Charlie G. McElhenney. It's dated nearly 2 months ago. She looks pretty preoccupied. I'm not familiar with the show she's watching, but she's certainly enamored with it. Maybe you come from another dimension where that makes sense. It would cause an electrical short, but I would shock the mess out of myself. Maybe that idea is just above my pay grade. Maybe that idea is just above my pay grade. Yeah, don't flip your There's only one name on the sign-in sheet. Charlie G. McElhenney. It's dated nearly 2 months ago. Hopefully she won't notice these are missing. Let's hope I don't get caught doing this. This is so illegal. Looks like the sleeping gas was just too much for this little guy. He's cold but not frozen. Really gonna need to clean this jacket. Out like a light. That must be the body I found before my, little nap. My dad dragged me to more than a few crime scenes when I was a kid. It's making this whole thing oddly familiar. According to the medical examiner's report, this is Oakley Baxter, mechanical engineer. I was sent to replace this guy. I guess he didn't just disappear as they thought. The report states he died from blunt force trauma and brain hemorrhaging. It says the key was inserted into his head wound once rendered unconscious, and causing further brain damage. His other wounds were all caused post-mortem, likely by the machine he was shoved into. No fingerprints or DNA were found at the scene. I should see what else I can find. Ticket book. Technically enforcing violations isn't part of the job, but he seems to have taken it on himself to keep things in check. Only one page left in the book. Must have taken it seriously. The key that was placed into his wound. You never see keys like this anymore. Must be decades old. Oakley's head wound. He was hit hard and precise enough to crack open his skull. The bruising looks pretty precise, like they were able to open the skull in only a couple shots. That must be the body I got everything I need from the body.
Organic material detected, no heartbeat registered, dangerously low temperature identified, initiating emergency thermal procedure. Initiating emergency shock resuscitation procedure. Error, insufficient power, battery damaged, new battery ordered, arriving in 2 to 3 weeks.
I am having the weirdest day.
Organic material detected, no heartbeat registered, dangerously low temperature identified, initiating emergency thermal procedure. Initiating emergency shock resuscitation procedure. Error, insufficient power, battery damaged, new battery ordered, arriving in 2 to 3 weeks.
At least I can get rid of my frozen friend now.
Engaging bedside manner protocol. I tried to get a reservation at the library, but they were all booked up. Ha ha, ha ha.
I have no words. All thawed out. No point.
Organic material detected, no heartbeat registered, error, battery damaged, cannot proceed with resuscitation procedure, engaging bedside manner protocol. What did the fish say when it ran into the concrete wall? Damn. Ha ha, ha ha.
Alright, that was actually pretty good. I'm gonna need the heart to have a beat. How in the world am I gonna do that?
Organic material detected. Heartbeat detected. The subject is within acceptable physical parameters. Your health status has been updated. You may return back to work. Have a good day, and please take your doctor's note.
And that actually worked. I don't believe that man has ever been to medical school.
If the doc says you're good to go, then you're good to leave.
The plaque under the sculpture reads DNA by Mona Moonbeam. I simply don't understand modern art.
If the doc says
The rain fell right on cue as I stepped out of the doctor's office. A few minutes later, lost, I wandered into some forgotten alley. Just as I was ready to give up and turn back, a figure appeared in the fog. Like an apparition calling to me, I followed it into the mist. As the haze cleared, I found myself standing in front of the old local museum. Propelled forward, I stepped through the doors. I followed the dark and enticing figure to the local museum. Its neglect over the preceding years hadn't tarnished its prevailing beauty. I fretted the gentle rapping of the rain on the roof was deriving a false sense of security. Perhaps it was my sense of duty or an innate stubbornness, but I had no inclination of turning back. plaque reads, "Here stands the Garaffa, the largest predator indigenous to the Macron asteroid belt. The Garaffa spends the majority of its time hunting and eating other indigenous creatures such as Cygni and Bombani. The Garaffa is best known for its intense yet unusual roar. That roar is pretty iconic these days. They made a horror picture a while back where a Garaffa ended up tearing its way through a rather unlucky crew aboard a Star Hauler. Although, most folks just remember the end with the Foxy Dame and her, unmentionables. Those are called stanchions, and that's your useless information for the day. Why is that so satisfying? They hate this. They hate this. They hate this. They hate this. Seems they were amidst the 100th anniversary last time this museum was open. And the skylight lights up the mural with a brilliant glimmer. And a stark remembrance of what this place once was. Display case void of anything interesting. Even the plaques have been removed. One could speculate they just gave up on packing this place midway. It's a shame, really, leaving all this to be forgotten. I rifle through the box for a time and find a battery, and everything else looks to be rubbish. The plaque reads, "Encased in this exhibit is Lucky, the first fish ever caught on Space Station 52. I'd postulate the name Lucky is meant to be ironic. The anti-grav device still seems to have some life left in it, but I don't see any way of retrieving it. I might be able to disrupt the gravity field with an electromagnet. For that I'd require steel, copper wire, and a power source of some kind. The information kiosk. I doubt it's very informative these days.
How am I? Oh! You startled me. Do you make a habit of lurking on ladies in the dark?
You make it a habit of lurking alone in the dark in abandoned buildings. Besides, aren't you the dame that was outside giving me the runaround?
Are you deriving the notion that I don't merit a chase?
And just because you're easy on the eyes doesn't mean you're worth the trouble.
If you keep staring, stranger, I may start charging you. I'm the reporter of the 52 Gazette.
The reporter? As in the one reporter?
What? You deem there isn't much newsworthy around here?
Couldn't really say. I just got here myself. I'm Ed.
Edward Locke. I'm aware.
How did you...
I'm the reporter. It's my business to know.
I'm investigating the murder of my predecessor, Oakley
Baxter. Yes, that would make the two of us. but I believe I'm uncovering something much bigger than that.
Bigger than murder?
Pittances, kitten. Pittances. Perhaps we could accommodate each other. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
What are you getting at, doll?
Well, I need to get at the information on this map display, but the console needs power first. If you can get me up and running, then I'll let you know, well, what I know.
Sounds like a square deal.
So, you'll need to gain access to the electrical closet behind me. Then route power through the junction boxes to the map display console.
Consider it done.
There's very little I don't consider. It's my
Job. Yeah, I get it. It's a jagged opening in the aquarium. An old broken up aquarium. Looky there, a battery inside the tank. Still have some juice, but I don't think I could reach it without incurring some serious lacerations. It's a jagged opening in the aquarium. It's a jagged opening in the aquarium. It's a planter full of water from the leak overhead. The caption reads, Lynx jellyfish. These shocking creatures were the first genetically engineered species born on the space station. The culmination of the work of Dr. Alfonso Lynx. The display reads, the original Killer Man mask used in the filming of Screech. Screech was filmed entirely on Space Station 52, and marks the first time 52 is used as the backdrop for a major motion picture. I remember that one, best known for a twist ending and an unusual use of a doggy door. Looks like a video game on an old silver disc developed here on the space station. The title reads, 24 Hours with an Octopus. Now that's a big pile of shipping boxes. I don't have time to hunt through all of that now. Console for the map display. Look at this old thing. My father had one just like it. Maybe I can just ignore that no touching please sign and take a little gander inside. Someone must have been stashing their spare access card in here. Unfortunately, the card is downright filthy. Doubt I'll even scan in this state. The plaque reads, Captain Willoughby Frankel is 52's most famous and revered fisherman. Captain Frankel has been the inspiration behind a multitude of characters and books, including the best-selling Shadow of a Day Gone. Expensive-looking vase. Normally I wouldn't condone pocketing a museum piece, but desperate times, I suppose.
Well, I need to get at the information on this map display, but the console needs power first. If you can get me up and so, you'll need to gain access to the electrical closet behind me. Then route power through the junction boxes to the map display console.
water has little effect. Gonna need something stronger to clean the card off. The plaque reads, "Sculpture by local artist, Mona Moonbeam." The display reads, "Anchor and rope from True Desire, the first ship to leave 52's docks." The caption reads, "Photo of Carl Brashear with his diving suit, the Pioneer Mark I, on their maiden plunge." The caption reads, "Photo of 52's pier during its grand opening." Interesting. The pier looks quite different today. It's a no-go. The door is permanently sealed. A more poetic man might say that plant is an apt metaphor for this space station. A more poetic man might say that plant is an apt metaphor. An incredible fossil. Unfortunately, the plaque has been graffitied over. My mother would turn over in her grave if I reiterated what it said. If my memory serves me, that creature is a Cygni. They are indigenous to this asteroid belt and not something I'd like to dance with. Whoa, not keen on that idea. Gonna have to put an egg in his shoe so he can beat it. Photo of a large vessel, and the water damage has eroded the caption away. Tell from the fossil, it looks like a lack of attention allowed it to fall from the frame. Whoa, not keen on that idea. Gonna have to put an egg in his shoe so he can beat it. If the clock wasn't ticking away, I'm sure I could discover some true treasures among those boxes. Box cutter. Seen some use, but it's still choice. Plaque reads, "Here sits a construction bot and fabricating materials used in the manufacturing of Space Station 52. The plaque reads, another battery, looks almost new. The door's locked up tight, but there's a spot to scan a card. It's too dirty to scan it properly. I think you've gone bats. Black reads, and I'd postulate the anti-grav device still seems to have some life left in it, but I don't see any way of retrieving it. I might be able to disrupt the gravity field with an electromagnet. For that, I'd require steel, copper wire, and a power source of some kind. A more poetic man might say, Black reads, here stands the Garaffa, the largest predator indigenous to the Macron asteroid belt. The Garaffa spends the majority of its time hunting and eating other indigenous creatures such as Cygni and Bombani. The Garaffa is best known for its intense yet unusual roar. That roar is pretty iconic these days. They made a horror picture a while back where a Garaffa ended up tearing its way through a rather unlucky crew aboard a star hauler. Although, most folks just remember the end with the Foxy Dame and her, unmentionables. It feels unfit to be doing this, but I could really use your help. The taxidermy's skin is thick. I managed to open it, but destroyed the box cutter in doing so. Sorry about that, pal. It'll go to a good cause. Looks like that took the piss out of him. Literally. Shouldn't need this speaker anymore. The urine seems slightly acidic. Smells a bit of ammonia. Now I really need a shower. But that did the trick. Took the grime right off. Tell from the fossil. Looks like a lack of attention allowed it to fall from the frame. Unlocked. Hey, an old-fashioned BLS chip. I can integrate it with my helmet. This can assist me in operating the older tech on the station. It's a shelf including a few odds and ends. And the deep blackness beyond the grate feels like it's staring me down. Maybe I should just leave it be. Some spare copper wire. I have to route each sequence one at a time and in numerical order to get the power back up. The energy's insufficient to operate this whole place. But if I route the power, it should be enough for the map console. Pretty sure I saw 3 junction boxes in the previous rooms. They should be marked with red lights. The renewed light caused the nail to glint in the umbra. Maybe that idea is just above my pay grade. You're a couple cents short of $1 on this one. Maybe you come from another... I gotta find a way to reach it. How the devil am I gonna get up there? no dice. The plaque reads, encased in this exhibit is Lucky, the first fish ever caught on Space Station 52. I'd postulate the name Lucky is meant to be ironic. The anti-grav device still seems to have some life left in it, but I don't see any way of retrieving it. I might be able to disrupt the gravity field with an electromagnet. For that, I'd require steel, copper wire, and a power source of some kind. It's a jagged opening in the aquarium. An old broken up aquarium. Looky there, a battery inside the tank. Still have some juice, but I don't think I could reach it without incurring some serious lacerations. A more poetic man might say that. If the clock wasn't ticking away, I'm sure I could discover some true treasures among those boxes. plaque reads, Captain... The sculpture is impossible to climb, slick as it is. Maybe I can unearth a different approach to reach that junction box. How the devil am I gonna get up there? Well, it loosed the battery from the rock, but it's still nevertheless out of reach. Bingo. Collision cracked the base just enough to get the anti-grav device free. A miracle didn't break the thing in the first place. I think I've done enough damage to this thing for one day. Well, that worked surprisingly well. I watched the light on the anti-gravity generator flicker its last. Turns out dropping a 300-pound exhibit on a piece of technology isn't great for it. Console for the map display. Let's power it up.
Okay, enter these coordinates for me. Just as I thought. These localized earthquakes aren't random.
What do you mean?
Someone is targeting specific systems with the quakes.
Looks like someone is taking out failsafe systems. But why? Not exactly a high priority.
Like I said, Ed, there is much more going on around here than just murder.
What was that?
Sounds like it came from the electrical closet.
Let me check it out. Well, this wasn't open when I left it. Ed, don't jump down the scary dark hole just to see what's down there. Ah, crap. The cold air cut through my clothes like I was as bare as a newborn. The oppressive darkness begged me to turn back, especially with a killer likely haunting the blackness. But I felt propelled forward, like I'd been magnetized. I'm sure I've had better ideas. Father once said, sometimes you have to brave the darkness to find the light. He's a rotten son of a gun, but sometimes he gives good advice. Whoever the drain jumper was that escaped down here had no problem navigating the dark. This system hasn't been up and running in a long while. The MCPs manage a variety of systems around the station. I should be able to interface with it. The MCPs manage a variety of systems around the station. I should be able to interface with it. What's the buzz? How's it hanging? You know, 'cause you're, hanging from a wall. You come here often? Wait, I'm forgetting something. I was able to do some research on this place before I got here. I think I need to say a phrase to activate the bot's interface. What does MCP stand for again? Mother Computing Protocol. Marvelously convoluted plot lines. Master Control Program.
Welcome, user.
The walls and floor are sort of Diary of a Maniac. Incoherent ramblings mixed with mathematical equations. It's been eroded away over the years, and I'm no professor, but the math appears at least somewhat sound. I shudder to ponder what the grand plan must have been. cooking pot adorns the marks of an object decades old. Should still do the job, though. The device appears to deliver a concussive sonic blast. The machinations of a madman, it seems, but this could actually work. An inscription scratched onto the contraption reads, "My red right hand." I sincerely hope whoever devised this weapon is long gone. It's difficult to describe the stench of these towels. I certainly hope they're actually useful. I hate to think I'm ruining my jacket for nothing. The air emitting from the pipe is quite cold. A cold breeze rushed out of the vent. It can be easy to forget you're in space when on a space station like this. The chilled air was a frigid reminder. A cold breeze rushed out of the... Looks like some little creature made itself a home up there. Appears old, but could be something useful in the nest. Looks like some little creature made its... A cold breeze rushed out of the vent. A cold breeze... A cold breeze... A cold breeze... These accumulators gather info about the status of the shaft. I doubt it will be of any use to me. There are shafts similar to these all over the station. They help regulate airflow, oxygen, temperature, among other things. Whoever came through here before me sealed the door shut. They certainly didn't want me following. Master Control Program.
Welcome, user.
The air flowing in the pipe is nicely warm. A cold breeze rushed out of the vent. It can be easy to... A cold breeze... A cold breeze rushed out of... A cold breeze rushed out of the vent. It can be easy to forget you're in space when on a space station like this. The chilled air was a... Looks like some little creature made itself a home up there. Master Control Program.
Welcome, user.
The air flowing in the pipe is nicely warm. Master Control Program.
Welcome, user.
You, sure about that? Master Control Program.
Welcome, user.
The air flowing in the pipe is nicely warm. Master Control Program.
Welcome, user.
The air streaming from the pipe is very hot. A cold breeze. I should fill the pot first. Maybe you come from another dimension? No dice. A cold breeze rushed out of the vent. It'd be easy to forget you're in space when on a space station like this. The chilled air was a frigid reminder. Here's a great idea. Let's use a death ray made by a madman that was slapped together with spare parts. I'm sure this will end really well. Well, the door's gone. So is the device, neither held up to the blast. The electricity is pulsing through the water, making it appear serene and angry, all at the same time. The electricity is pulsing through the water, making it appear serene and angry, all at the same time. That death ray thing sure did a number on that door. I need to match the sign on the wall to one of the three on the floor. Then I should be able to stop the power from chirping at me. I need to match the sign on the wall to one of the three on the floor. Then I should be able to stop the power from chirping at me. That's the access point for this end. I'll need to deduct where the missing shuttle went if I want to stay on the pursuit. If I can get the display working, I can mark where the last shuttle went. Always hated these things, like a flying coffin. I'll need to fix the crack and sleuth out where the last shuttle went before I can leave. Always hated these things, like a flying coffin. I'll need to fix the crack and sleuth out where the last shuttle went before I can leave. Well, razz my berries. A rabbit managed to crack the glass on the shuttle before he went further down the rabbit hole. These shuttles pass through areas of zero atmosphere. This glass will crack like an egg with that pressure. I gotta discover a means to seal the crack before I can leave. I recall reading about a process of making primitive glue. You can boil elements of an animal, like the bones and hide. Well, razz my... These shuttles pass... I gotta discover... I recall... Just your standard mug. Simple and efficient. It's the docking bay for the maintenance shuttle. I need to match the sign on the wall to one of the three on the floor. Then I should be able to stop the power from chirping at me. Master Control Program.
Welcome, user.
With electricity powered down, I can access the water. With electricity powered down... Yeah, not really thirsty right now. Oh, and I thought they smelled bad before. Why would I do that? Master Control Program.
Welcome, user.
Last destination, 0385J. Well, the creature that made the nest is still here, but I imagine much less lively. Just some old bones and a tail left behind. The water is boiling now. I need to add something to the pot. The pot is far too scorching to grab. I'll need something to scoop the glue out. I should find a way to administer the glue more carefully. sure that will hold. Probably. The rain was falling like needles, chilling my blood. But I'm hot on the trail of a killer, and it's warming me up. My father always said the truth is a moving target. I never knew what he meant by that, but I'm beginning to understand. No need to go back down there. Looks to be a sort of handle. Could be useful. Fancy ice pick, I think. A little rich for my blood. Once upon a time, this space station represented living the high life. Now it's just a rusting relic of the past. Apex Noir. Darn good coffee. What kind of fool throws away a good pair of pliers? It's a ventilation unit. Must be a controller around here to sort that steam out. Those characters look so familiar. I think it's from an old video game. I can't believe I remember that. I can't believe anyone would. Gonna have to sort out that steam before I can move forward. I don't see any valves anywhere. Well, this thing has more kinks than my ex, but it could actually still be worth having. Hey, an old T-17 cleaner bot. It's in pretty good shape considering it's older than my grandfather. These always were as tough as a $2 steak. There's a battery here, but it's dead. Maybe I can find a way to juice it. Missing some gizmos. Cleaning brushes, one ocular lens, liquid cleaner, and a charged battery. Looks like the ventilation controller. Cover's locked tight. Gonna need something to jimmy it loose. The cover came off with a satisfying ping as it fell. like a shell casing hitting the ground in one of those old detective movies my father loves. The newly bare inner workings reveal a bypass. If I can find a metal bar the correct size, I should be able to short out the ventilation unit. Gotta scrounge up a metal bar to fit in the bypass. Once upon a time, this space station represented living the high life. Now it's just a rusting relic of the past. Whoa, I'm not sure what you're into, but I'd rather not scold myself. Those characters look so No need to go back down there. Apex Noir. Darn good coffee. The steam hissed into stain as its life faded. My path clear, I took no small amount of joy watching the steam breathe its last. An old broken tube, same model from when I was a kid. Brings me back to those old westerns I loved. More than once I've found myself in trouble with a BB gun in hand. Oh, must have hit my head harder than I thought. Keep it together, you. Yeah, I've had enough of that thing. Some heavy sail canvas. Some heavy sail canvas. Some old cargo nets. Looks like it's just decorations. Take a gander at that. An old buccaneer sword. It's out of reach, though. It doesn't appear to do anything at the moment. Some sort of coin. It's a coin of some kind. You don't have to be a flatfoot to figure out these quakes are getting worse. The rumble appears to have jammed up the elevator. Gonna have to reset it or I'm dead in the water. I'd be annoyed if it wasn't technically my job. It doesn't appear to do anything at the moment. The rumble must have shook the sword loose. This brings me back to those old swashbuckling films I'd watch with my brother. Old popcorn, greasy seats, good times. Took some work with that somewhat dull sword, but eventually the canvas gave away, revealing a panel beneath it. The panel's bolts appear ragged and stripped from repeated use. With the right tool, the bolts could likely be pulled free. Well, look at that, a scan droid. Wait, did it say negative reinforcement? This is one strange place. All that aside, the scan droid should help me find the nodes hidden in this room. Then I can reset that elevator. Also, someone left behind a note. Some old cargo. It doesn't appear to do anything at the moment. It's going nowhere until I fix it. I should fix the elevator before I leave. It's going nowhere until I fix it. It doesn't appear to do anything at the moment. some old cargo nets. It's going nowhere until I fix it. An aperture on top of the device cracked open. So long, you odd little scandroid. I need to find the proper object to place inside the aperture. Sword locked in place within the aperture, and bingo, elevator reset. You absolutely aren't going to find any of that as standard procedure in my technician's handbook. That's a Nelumbo, I believe. Apparently they are a delicacy. I've never been able to afford one myself. Those are Lynx jellies. They pack a huge electrical punch. Those are Lynx jellies. They pack a huge electrical punch. Somebody left behind a matchbook, and only a single match left. Look, a Cyresis. I remember studying these in grade school. If I remember rightly, despite looking like a tough shell, they're actually quite soft. And that always stuck with me for some reason. Whoa, looks like an authentic